Around the Horn episode 4,952. And we've got a headline story and a stat we haven't been able to say in any of the previous episodes. A choke for the ages. We're going out choking on this show and pacing ourselves. So pace yourself for the greatest clutch run in playoff history with the most clutch paddle in Around the Horn history. Clinton Yates, Courtney Cronin, Pablo Torre, and yes, the return of Israel Gutierrez. My man.
That guy did look familiar. Yeah. I was like, is that?
The reason why my bow tie is loose.
Obama?
No choking.
I see you. Welcome home, Israel Gutierrez. You can catch Israel on his podcast, Oddball, with Amin El Hassan, and all over the Meadowlark multiverse. And you can get his NBA takes on Sirius. His 8-part series, 4 Years of Heat, is awesome. Available on iHeartRadio. Such a success. You got another one, and now they're up to episode 7 on their way to 10, Israel, on the Warriors, the Dub Dynasty. So, Israel, welcome home, I say again. You look great, by the way. Give us your life story and what we missed for the last 2 years.
I mean, I'm still a big Florida Panthers guy. I'm still neighbors with Leo Messi. And I'm happy, very proud to be on the penultimate episode because everybody knows the finale is usually electric.
No, come on. I mean,
That's right. That's right.
so good to have you here. Let's go. First word. The all-time comeback in a month of all-time comebacks for the Indiana Pacers. I'm going to start by asking you, how all-time a comeback is it? It defies reason, it defies logic. Naismith, Halliburton, how they could do this. That the Knicks could allow this maybe doesn't defy logic. The franchise woes you know about, but how this team, the Knicks, have been so clutch all postseason and a different team this postseason. But that shot from Halliburton, I want it all. We're going wall-to-wall coverage. The entire first segment of the second to last show Around the Horn is on Halliburton's shot and the Pacers comeback. Talk to me about it, Israel Gutierrez. Around the Horn to you, what did we just witness?
I mean, you just witnessed Aaron Nesmith probably have the greatest 6-minute stretch in the fourth quarter of a playoff game that his team needed. And you might even forget about it because it was Tyrese Halliburton at the end there with the big shot. Aaron Nesmith shot 43% from 3 this year, and yet he was still finding himself constantly open. I don't know if you want to blame OG Anunoby. I don't know if you want to blame Tom Thibodeau, but he was open because after that second one in that don't just stick to that guy like glue for the rest of the fourth period. It's like they didn't even know who he was, and yet here he was having Josh Hart hit the floor almost and just hitting these huge shots, the one to bring him within 2, and then Tyrese Halliburton took it from there, and he has been arguably the most clutch performer in the history of the playoffs.
Is
so
that
far.
really what it is? Because I feel like I want to say that,
really
but I
is.
feel, is that hyperbole? Is that exaggerating? Hyperbole?
It's not hyperbolic. There are numbers that support that, and we've seen it in every round so far. And the thing that's amazing is, look, it's not just that you're doing it there. It's not just that you're doing it at the Garden. While you're making that comeback, you're seeing Reggie Miller right there in the booth every single time, and then you give yourself that opportunity in Game 1. It was just.
All right, we're going to get more on that. I need to stop real quick, though, Israel. I mean, you are a documenter and a documentarian of playoff basketball and what the Pacers have done this postseason. How all-time a comeback is last night and even these moments they've had.
Huge of an all-time comeback. If you want to talk about the Warriors, imagine that was Steph and Clay. We'd be putting that in the history books right away. Okay, and what Nesmith did was better than anything Clay did, in the fourth quarter of a playoff game with the Warriors. So yes, it is that significant, and it's almost like we're just learning of the Indiana Pacers, which is a great part about the parity of the NBA, because unless you were following them, maybe you don't know how good Andrew Nembhard is, or Andrew Nesmith, or how good Miles Turner has become sort of a classic, a new age big, a perfect new age big. So they are a complete team that can play both sides of the court.
Aaron Nesmith, of course. Pablo Torre, Around the Horn to you now on what is it about this Pacers team and their knack for this?
It's that even though this might have been the first time America has seen this team this year play basketball, they've actually been doing it all year. Undefeated in clutch time. This has been their own legend, and the theater of it is figurative and literal, right? They do it at the Garden against a team that had been regarded as the most clutch at a venue that is known for being a house of horrors to the very team that it seeks to celebrate. And so the Pacers, look, when you go down the list of what happened when these guys get to be their best under pressure, it's the greatest comeback I've ever seen. And I say that both aesthetically, as a matter of what it looked like.
Yeah, it was
I say that
beautiful.
palpably as what it felt like, and statistically, right? It had never been done. 9-point lead, vaporized in the fourth quarter or overtime. A guy shooting, Neesmith alone, get to Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin double pumping Tone at the rim, through an
What a
and one to
dunk.
win the game. It's just like that alone. Hang
There
that
was
in whatever
an aesthetic
museum
beauty.
you can visit.
Right.
Yes.
to
So
it.
it's just unbelievable. The hyperbole is insufficient.
Okay, well, I mean,
for the
I've
context
been doing this
to
show
me.
for a little while, and sometimes you get those comments. This is recency bias. This can't possibly be all time.
Prisoner of the
Clinton
moment.
Yates, imprison me in this moment, Clinton Yates. What did we just witness?
First of all, I will remind you that the Pacers almost won the NBA Cup last year, so if you're just now seeing them, that's on you. I'm kidding. But overall, the idea of what this game was, it lived up to the moment on so many levels. New York City's out here renaming streets outside of the Garden
I
after
wanna get to
players
that too.
on that
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
The people are up. All of the alumni that have been there throughout this run, the team goes up by 14, they start showing them on the big screen. And as soon as they're done doing that, the game changes instantly. Yeah, I'm with Pablo on this. I don't care about the numbers, to be quite honest, even though I'll get to one in a second. How it felt was unbelievable to watch that in real time with a Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend moment, changing everything. The stat that really took me was that since 1997, there have been 1,702, games losses in which the team was down by 7, up by 7 with 50 seconds or more. 4 of those have happened in total in the history of the NBA, and the Pacers have 3 of them, and they're all this year, which is insane to me that they've been doing this the entire playoffs. So overall, the numbers were there, the moment was there, absolute cinema, to quote Martin Scorsese.
Oh, that's going to get you the requisite 30-point bonus for quoting Martin Scorsese or whatever the numbers. I'm just
Penultimate
making up
pandering.
points now. Some might say I've been doing that for 23 years, but Courtney Cronin, around the horn to you. What did we witness last night?
Can we talk about the audacity of this man, Tyrese Halliburton,
thank
to
you.
dribble the ball back out,
Yeah.
to shoot the 3? Like, he gets the ball swatted away as he's trying to drive the lane and then has the confidence in himself. Remember, this guy was the most overrated player in the NBA. It's the perfect marriage of pettiness, but also the skill that people, like Clinton mentioned, the NBA Cup, right after Tyrese Halliburton signs that max deal, he's only on RSN feeds in Indiana. Now the world is getting introduced to him on the big stage. He's been doing this. They've been doing this. They thrive off these late game heroics, and they've done it all postseason long. 3 comebacks when trailing by 3 possessions in the final minute of the game. You go to Game 5 in overtime because of Tyrese Halliburton to close out the Milwaukee Bucks. Game 2 when he hits the other shot from the top of the key and then does the celebration, which I cannot do here on Around the Horn. Even though we're moving off the air, I probably should be able to do it. I won't. And then he does it again last night. Like, to do it in front of the godfather of the choke
Yeah,
and get
I got
Reggie
you.
Miller
I hear
to
you.
give him the passing of the torch. It's theater. This is
All
what
right,
these
all
NBA
right.
playoffs
I
have
mean,
been
I
needing.
still want to get back to that, but since Clinton brought it up, the New York Knicks, let's talk about the other side of this. Streets ahead is an expression I'd like to use. They were literally streets ahead because you saw it. They were getting ready to name streets for just getting into the Eastern Conference. Not the Knicks, of course, but fans, Knicks fans, the Bing Bong community. So I'm going to make this a debate here. I play odds maker on Statboy in the past. I may have to be Statboy again in the very near future. Odds makers, what percentage of this was Pacers doing it, and what percentage of it was the Knicks giving it away? Pablo Torre, first to you.
Yeah, it feels like it's 77-33. Pacers 77, Knicks perhaps poetically 33, a number that has fallen short in my childhood.
Yeah, that wouldn't even work
Tone.
mathematically, young man. That is 77.
77,
23.
Yeah, leave it to
Oh,
Pablo
this
to
is
ruin the
oh
math on
no!
this.
This is a terrible loss.
Is it
in the
good that I'm
penultimate
going
show.
out on this show by failing to add up basic math after being the analytics guy reduced to hot take guy? Tony, the reason why I'm discombobulated is because there is a strain inside of the genetic sequencing of a Knicks fan, which I somewhere deep inside me remain, that just feels like the Mets. It feels a little like the Jets.
Yeah.
And it's just this sort of sinking feeling that as much as you get closer to the sun, it feels like you've
This
flown too
team
close
was
to it.
different. Not even was supposed to be different. They were, but they were different just last week.
I was at Game 6 watching them celebrate, dance in the streets and in the stands, up 40 in the fourth quarter. And yes, it looked different, but this game felt the same. And so forget the math, because I can't do it anymore. It's something deeper about what haunts you. And yeah, about a third of it is responsible.
Israel
I think, for
Gutierrez?
that.
Courtney, don't be afraid. Look, I'm doing the dance right now. You can't really tell. Look, I'd call like 60-40, okay? I think 60% credit and 40% choke. And that's because Aaron Nesmith, again, hit all those threes, okay? And that's because Tyrese Halliburton had the cojones to pull back out. Obviously, it should have been, in his eyes, it was a three-pointer. But the Knicks tried to blow this thing multiple times, okay? The Pacers had to make multiple comebacks. There was a time where, OG Anunoby had a layup, and then Cat had a layup, and it's like, hey, the Knicks are going to close this out. And they had to do it again. So, yes, I do think that the Pacers deserve more credit than blame, but the Knicks trying to throw those balls away that ended up not being turnovers was almost them trying to lose this game by
We're
10.
living like
So they
there's no
definitely
tomorrow
get
on this
credit.
show, because there's no tomorrow on the show. But there will be another game and more games in this series. Does something like this result have carryover, Israel?
It could. I would say that it puts a lot of pressure on the Knicks to win game 2, more so than they probably would have felt under normal circumstances. But if they can win this game, I do think it does sort of win game 2. It does reverse the pressure on Indiana, because you really went all out on that celebration. And got to remind everybody, it's game 1.
Do you think he went too far? Let me ask you this, Courtney Cronin. The choke, famously, as you alluded to, from Reggie. That's one of the greatest images and moments in NBA history. Did this one rise to that level? Did it supplant that as the greatest, in your opinion?
Well, remember, the Pacers never won another game after Reggie Miller did that. I guess history will see
Isn't that
here,
serious?
but it was incredible. I know it was a 2. It was an iconic level of savagery that not even Reggie Miller had in
28?
the moment when he did it towards Spike
For
Lee.
you?
I don't need a complete facsimile. This guy, art and sports with history, does paintings for new things. It really happened in real life in front of our eyes. That's about as cool as it's going to get for a moment that's that iconic
This was
in
better
sports.
for me. The ball hanging
Twice.
in the air, 10 feet above the rim,
Yeah.
4 seconds.
It's incredible.
Eye level.
Cinema. Taking a break. Bye till next. It's buy or sell with a panel that gives 110% Pablo, 110%. And I
Yeah, I
appreciate
get it.
that. Tonight in Oklahoma City, Game 2, Thunder T-Wolves. What the Thunder did, showing that second and third gear in Game 1. And how the Wolves now need to respond and make adjustments. Anthony Edwards said, we're going to figure it out after Game 1, so I'm looking for the out that needs figuring. And also, a question just to throw out there, will Shai Gilgeous-Alexander get the whistles he's been getting now that that's been put under a microscope as fans are making mixtapes over that? Clinton Yates, what do you buy, what do you sell, Game 2?
You can get fired up about Anthony Edwards not having the points you want in the fourth quarter, but he's also hurt. But my feeling is, without Rudy Gobert showing up, without a quintuple single, which he did last game, they're not going to be able to beat anybody anyway. So they've got to make more open threes. They got plenty, and I agree with Ant in terms of getting more shots, but that injury is clearly ailing him in terms of him being able to get to his favorite spot on the floor. If he feels better, he'll probably take it
You
more
think
too.
tonight's a must-win game for Minnesota, Clinton?
Bien sûr, mon ami.
You do. You don't think they can go down 0-2? Courtney Cronin, how about you?
No.
I think it's pretty musty because they were in that spot last year against the Mavs when they went down 0-2 in the Western Conference Finals and then had to go home and got bounced in 5. So to the point of Anthony Edwards, yes, he tweaked his ankle. Apparently he's pretty angry today. That's what Mike Conley said happens after they lose. So hopefully you channel that into being able to elevate your teammates against this OKC defense. They're a team that's 8-0 this postseason when Anthony Edwards dishes out 4 or more assists. They're 0-3 when he dishes out 3 or fewer. So you know where to go. It's through Anthony Edwards.
Through Anthony Edwards, but even he needs to facilitate more, it sounds like. Israel Gutierrez around the horn to you.
Not too musty. I'd say a 4 on a scale of 1 to 10. You can go down 0-2 on the road and still come back and win a series. And the way they do figure it out is for Anthony Edwards to look within. And it's not just about scoring more. He only took 1 shot in the paint. And Clinton, yes, his ankle is probably hurting, but he looked fine when he was about that far over the rim trying to dunk on Lou Dort. So I'm pretty sure he has the ability to be a lot more aggressive, take somewhere upwards of 30 shots. And then when the defense is focused on you, that's when Naz Reid, Dante DiVincenzo, Alexander Walker, like that's when those guys get their good shots and they don't have to force it, and then you're shooting the numbers that they shot in game 1.
And Pablo Torre.
Yeah, look, the mustiness of this reminds me of a wise man who once said on this program, to win tournaments, you gotta win tournaments. You gotta win. Tone, this game in particular, why do I say that? It's because the three-point shot has been the key to the Wolves all season. Them trying to shoot their way out of holes did not work in game 1. It was disastrous. And when Anthony Edwards says he only took 13 bleeping shots, yeah, a problem for him and Julius Randle, who also shot 13 bleeping times. The 3 needs to come through. They can't afford going down anymore.
Okay, wow. So we need 30 shots from Anthony Edwards, Israel. That's a big number. And Clinton,
Nobody would complain.
You need 3-pointers from Rudy Gobert, it sounds like. Who you got tonight?
No.
Clinton?
I got OKC. Rudy Gobert, I don't have a ton of faith in, but I'd like to see le monsieur un peu plus fort.
Okay, Courtney Cronin, who you got?
Get stronger, dude.
I've got the Thunder at home in game
Israel Gutierrez.
OKC, they allowed 0 fast break points in game 1. I think OKC will do it again. in
Pablo
game
Torre.
Minnesota.
There it is. Somebody going the other way.
Wow.
I'm going to hold
16
you to
seed.
that pick. We'll move on. Buy or sell 2. Huge third period last night for the Dallas Stars to grab game 1. Let's go around that horn. 6-3 was the final. That sounds like a beatdown, but this was tight. And then there were Oilers penalties. 3 Dallas power play goals to start the third period to make it 4-3, and then they added 2 more after that for that final. Around the final horn, there was brawling. So we also have heat in this series. Courtney, how much of this was Stars credit? How much of this was Oilers blame?
80% going to the Dallas Stars. Let's not forget, they were a team that entered the postseason on a 7-game losing streak, and their probability of getting to this stage is far less than everybody else. They've played with urgency, and they know their personnel. They know that the Oilers are bad on the penalty kill. It's been a problem all season. They attacked it in that third period, and they won.
Israel Gutierrez?
10% credit to the Stars, 100% blame to the Oilers to complete the 110% of blame. You do not stay out of
See
the
what
box.
you did
There's
there?
2 silly high-sticking penalties there, which Dallas scored on immediately. It was ridiculous. You got to know how to defend the league. Come on.
Pablo Torre?
100-0 Stars. They didn't even do it with their Filipino hockey player, a guy who is real. I can acknowledge on my last show, Jason Robertson. That dude didn't even score. He's the best player on the team. 100 zip.
And Clinton Yates?
100% Stars for this skate alone. They could not do anything on the power play in the first 2 periods. Getting the second intermission, Peter DeBoer says, get your head out of your behind, and they end up turning it around. 5 unanswered? Yeah, that's on the Stars.
That's the Rod and Tim Kalishaw all the way to a 1-0 lead to Dallas.
Top Cat, what up?
Hey, you know, since you guys are giving 110% today, of course, what we would require of you, everybody's getting a FaceTime today. No eliminations. This is our last trip around this horn. We'll be back. FaceTime next. Look at those scores today. That'll go in the all-time points per game average for our panelists, which we'll keep
Okay.
on our Wikipedia page and somewhere else as well. But now, of course, I've waited all show for this, our FaceTimes. And first up, Pablo Torre.
Yeah. Tony is a guest on my show this week. We spent an hour together. My feelings and emotions will be there. This is for the math. I have just been informed by Caroline, our statistician, that I am officially the... Tony, it chokes me up to say this. I have the lowest points per show average in the history of Around the Horn, thanks to you today. And I love it. I love that my win total is 137.75. I love that I went from Alex Smith man to morning Around the Horn with the real Alex Smith yesterday.
Yeah.
I love this family. I love that this doesn't feel real yet, because I expect to do this for a very long time still in my heart, in my bones. I love you guys. Thank you for having me.
138.75. That is his Final number, actually. Gordy Cronin, FaceTime, please.
One of my favorite things about Around the Horn is that it took sports reporters all across the country and gave them an opportunity to talk about their teams from their city on the national stage. Like when this show was just getting started, I was a middle schooler arguing with my friends about who we were more upset with after the 2003 NLDS Game 6. Was it Steve Bartman or was it Alex S. Gonzalez? For the last 3 years, I've had a chance to put on for a place that means so much to me in the city of Chicago, and I've gotten to give a piece of my home to the viewers of Around the Horn, and I'm so grateful for that.
Clinton Yates, FaceTime.
When I first met Tony Reale, he wasn't even the show host of this program, but he used to come on my college radio program where I used to watch this show with my buddies, Cox, Kyle, Paulie, Gary, Chaba, what up? And I never thought I'd be in this position. I never thought I'd be in the position of getting back to this program and introducing my little brother, my father, and my son on the program. But now that we are here, and we've come all this way, I just want to point out this show and the viewers have made me a better person overall and making sure that I remembered I could believe in myself and represent something that everybody was going to enjoy. Thank you so much, everyone, over the years.
It is Israel Gutierrez, FaceTime.
Tony, there's two major things that I've learned over 17 years of being on the show, and it's the importance of authenticity and the power of tears. So I'm just going to say some things that are on my mind, and obviously it's bringing about some tears. Today, May 22nd, would have been my sister Alba's 44th birthday. She passed away last month, and one of the things that she was so constantly proud of me is watching me on this show. Heck, 2 of her kids were on this show with me for a second. And it just made me think about community and how much this show has created for me, for all of us. And no matter what happens, that's never going to go away, just like the memory of my sister is never going to go away. So thank you so much, and I love you all for it.
Oh, my goodness, Israel. Thank you. And we are, of course, all feeling your pain and so sorry for your loss and your family's loss and for the kids. Thank you. The honor of a lifetime. Tomorrow, our finale of this great show will have the greatest of all times, the OGs, and something else.